For the third opera in the 2016 season, we leave behind tragedy and murder, and we have a great comedy, but also one that is as deep as the ocean. This is Richard Strauss's Ariadne of Naxos, Ariadne on the island of Naxos. We combine humor with melodrama and just gorgeous, gorgeous music. This story uses humor to explore the relationship between so-called high art and low art. The story is this. We have the richest man in Vienna, and he's throwing a fancy dinner party, which all occurs off stage. And on stage, what we see are the two performance troupes he's invited to perform. The one is a serious German opera company with a gifted young composer who's got a great work that will debut. And then there's a sort of a commedia dell'arte comedy troupe, like a vaudeville traveling group of comedians. And they're arguing about who should go first or second, and they dislike each other as soon as they meet. The situation is a little complicated by the fact that the major domo comes out at one point and says, hey, sorry folks, dinner is running long, and so instead of performing the comedy first and the opera second or vice versa, they're going to need you to do them both at the same time. You're all professionals, work it out. And he leaves. And they're all horrified, the composer especially, that his high-minded art is going to be polluted with this low-brow comedy. And the comedians aren't such a fan of the idea either, because their jokes are going to be ruined by all these stuffy opera singers. And yet, the combination of the two creates a kind of magic. And suddenly we're telling the not-so-unrelentingly tragic story of the Princess Ariadne, who's been abandoned on the Greek isle of Naxos, where she thinks her only option is death, because she's been abandoned by her lover Theseus. And the comedians keep appearing to try to cheer her up. In the end, this is like Strauss's love letter to the art form he loved, that of performance, and its ability to move us and to lift us out of our lives and to bring people together. And that's what happens in this story in a very unlikely way, because the comedy troupe is led by this spectacular comedian and, as it turns out, spectacular singer, Zerbinetta. And she and the young composer suddenly find that they're not so repelled by one another, though they are opposites. In fact, they're sort of into one another. So this show will be directed by an artist that we love at Opera Theatre, Sean Curran, who, speaking of extremes, has given us an incredible, chilling tragedy in our production of Salome in 2009. And he's also given us one of the funniest evenings at Opera Theatre when he gave us that production of The Pirates of Penzance just a couple of seasons ago. And Sean is both a director and a choreographer, which will be important because Ariadne really depends on having great physical comedy in addition to great singing. Now, the singers we have lined up for this production are truly exciting. In the role of Ariadne is a great young soprano named Marjorie Owens, who's making her debut at Opera Theatre. She won the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions in 2006, and then just recently went on to make her Metropolitan Opera debut in the title role of Aida. We're thrilled to have her here as our Ariadne. And as that Zerbinetta, the one with all the vocal fireworks, we have a recent young artist, a Jardine young artist with Opera Theatre, who's now singing principal roles around the United States. She's appeared at the Glimmerglass Festival, the Houston Grand Opera, and the Los Angeles Opera, and her name is so young park. Ariadne is one of those magical nights in the theater that flies by. It's one of the shorter operas in the repertoire, and it is full of hilarious moments and then moments of such beautiful, heartbreakingly gorgeous music that it turns out that that serious German composer who took himself too seriously at first is actually capable of writing something as great as he thinks it is.